what is your go-to coffee order right now? Right now. Do not go past right now.
Like order? I don't order coffee anymore. I make it myself.
Okay, that counts too, because I do that same thing.
Oh,
What
okay.
is your favorite right now that you make?
I have a peppermint mocha like flavor shot thing that I just like swirl in there with some milk.
Okay.
I'm not I'm not real particular about my coffee. Like I feel like I should be, but I'm not.
I'm not either. I go to Woodman's and I go, what's on sale?
Yep.
Um, when I make my coffee at home, I drink it black. Except when I make cold brew, like overnight cold brew, I'll do like
Hmm.
that. But I know what I don't like. I realized I don't like hazelnut. I knew that,
Yeah.
and I don't like white, or I don't like chocolate in my grinds.
Oh, okay.
But I love the mocha at like Starbucks or whatever. It's just the grinds that taste like chocolate. I go, ooh, keep it.
Oh, any coffee grounds that are flavored, it's like always over flavored. Like it's like it has like a weird aftertaste to me. I don't like it.
Well, and then yeah, and a lot of times you have to drink it black because if you put any kind of creamer, the flavor goes away, which
Yeah.
actually is good for some flavors you don't like.
Yeah.
But that is my because I hate fall drinks and like I would say I don't discriminate with coffee. I'll drink it black and I'll drink it with the most sugar you can find. Um, but peppermint season is where I thrive.
Okay.
So the peppermint mocha makes me happy that you are happy with. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start.
Okay.
So, since you've been a guest before, welcome back.
Thank you.
We are going to skip over the Allie. Tell me how you started writing because we have a whole episode about that. So I'm just going. We could, but take some time up.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna go straight to your book, Not a Strong Enough Word. So you have many books, and the thing is, you know that I'm a huge fan of you and your writing. So, but we're picking this
My
one today.
biggest fan.
Yes.
As
You know
I
what?
sign all of your books.
Stop. I need a shirt. Okay. Anyways, okay, so, off topic as I am the whole day today. So you self-published this book first,
Yes.
and then a publisher picked it up, which makes this is your first traditionally published book.
Yes.
There we go. That's for you. Can't be too loud.
Thank you.
My thing is, I know the answer a little bit, but have you queried other books in the past? Or, I mean, I think you did, but did you have a good feeling about Not a Strong Enough Word? Like, did you think it was the book to pitch? Tell me about your querying process of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So I actually love this story because I think it's like we see a lot of successes like in the indie space. People are like, oh, I'm going trad, I'm doing this, and all of that is great, but I think that like we don't often share like the behind the scenes stuff that happens first. So so like what we see is like, oh, somebody found her book sold really well, or somebody found it and they wanted it, and that is not exactly true for this one. So I queried, or I didn't query is for agents, submission is for
Right.
publishers.
Yes, right.
So I've had an agent for a while, but we put Love Out Loud on submission. And a lot of things happened with that book. There's a lot of reasons why I decided to put that on submission, but the kind of long and the short of it was that like some things that I had lined up as far as like behind the scenes kind of stuff just sort of fell through. And I was like, well, I could find new people to do this, or I could just put it on submission. And at the time that was like, maybe like a year ago. Yeah, that sounds right. Like a year ago. And so it was a summer book. I was like, well, I'm not going to publish it till the summer anyway. So like, we'll just put it on submission. I'll work on some other stuff and we'll just like let it go. Oh no, you know what? That was before the election. It was like October last
Okay.
year, which is important because the market changed after the
Yeah.
election, right? Shocking.
Yeah.
And like that book is really, it's really nice. It's like a really nice book.
What we
And
need. Yeah.
what?
What we need. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was what we need, but I think people turned a little bit more towards like angstier books. Like they wanted a little bit more, yeah. And the market shifted a little bit in that direction. A little darker, a little angstier. A little more like second chance, a little less childhood friends to lovers. So Love Out Loud is childhood friends to lovers. So we got some really good feedback, but it was pretty clear that it wasn't going anywhere. So, and they would say like, oh, I really was looking for like a second chance. I was looking for a little more angst. And I was like, yeah, this is not that book. Like, I totally get it. You know, it's not that it's a bad book. It's a good book. It's just not what they were looking for. And so I said to my agent when I wrote Not a Strong Enough Word, I was like, God, I really wish that we had gone on submission with this one because it is second chance and it is angsty. And it's like exactly what these people are like, oh, I wish this was this, you know? And she was like, well, why not? I love my agent so much. She's just so like,
she's like,
why not?
Say no, just do it.
Right. She's just like, you know what? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. So like, whatever we're going to do, we're going to just do it. So I was like, sure, fine. So that was like March. And I had set to publish it in May. And I said, but I'm still publishing it in May. Like, if nobody wants it, I'm publishing it in May. She's like, all right, rapid fire. So we sent it to a lot of people. Like a lot. Usually you go in like rounds, you go for like 10, you see what they say, you see if you want to edit it, you like, you know, it's slow. We went to 35 publishing houses and we were like, hey, if you want this, like take it. If not, it's being published. It's being indie published in May. And some people just passed right away. They were like, no, that's too fast, like too hard of a deadline, you know. And we expected that. And some people hung on to it and we had some interest, and then we had some, you know, it was going to take a little bit longer than May, and so they kind of backed out, and then I indie published it. So Meredith from Page and Vine went to my agent. She had it, and she went to my agent and was like, you know, is Allie still interested in an offer on this? And so my agent texted me, and I was like, I mean, yeah, like I would look at one, sure, you know. And then she messaged my agent and said, does she have any more books in this series? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. I did. I just didn't have them like written out, you know, like I didn't have them like submission ready, but I knew who was coming next. And I was like, well, you know, how many do they want? Like I could do 3, I could do 8. Like what are they looking for? So they said 3, you know, 2 more. And I was like, all right. So I picked my favorites and I, wrote them out, got them all ready to go. I felt like I was in a movie. I was like, this is like being a writer, you know, like I'm like submitting this pitch in like an hour, you know, I like had it ready to go. And it was really fun. And so I sent it to my agent. She sent it to Page and Vine, and they came back and said they wanted it. So I felt really good about the whole thing. We did offer them Love Out Loud also, and they said that they wanted to see how this went. And I said, okay, so I just pulled it and I indie published that one. Cause why not, you know? And, that's like my whole author philosophy. Why not? Do whatever you want. Why not?
That's why agent get along so well.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's very cool. And she's very like willing to try stuff, which I think a lot of people in this industry, a lot of people in publishing are like really risk averse. And she's just like, what do you got to lose? If nobody wants it, you publish it yourself. I'm like, you're right. I can't, I have that skill set, you know? So yeah, so I pulled Love Out Loud, and I really love that story because like, yeah, I guess Love Out Loud kind of died on submission, but I don't consider it a failure. Like I think it needed to go away so I could write Not a Strong Enough Word. And that book was like the book of my whole soul. And I love that story so much. And the fact that Page and Vine wanted it based on, you know, it wasn't like it sold fine. It wasn't like astronomical, but they wanted it because the story was good, and they wanted it because they like my writing. And that just makes me feel happy. Like I'm just happy. I'm so happy about it. So I'm really excited.
Okay, but you know, if I was a publisher with a publishing company, I'd hire you. I'd give you so much money, but I'd give you someone else's money for you.
Well, thank you.
I have a question about that though. Okay, so you said you gave Not a Strong Enough Word. They wanted that, and then they asked for like the next in the series. Did they not sign with you or do that? Like, did they want to know what the series had in store before they like offered you anything? Like, what if they did like book 2 or book 3?
I don't know. I hope that, I mean, maybe, right, that they would have come back and been like, man, we don't like this one, like,
Yeah.
try again. Um, I don't know. I
Yeah.
really have no idea. They did like it. I think I mean, they read it, right? They read Not a Strong Enough Word. I think they had an idea like where I was going. It's not like I'm not like hiding it.
You're not Freedom McFadden. You're not like on the edge. You just enjoy
Right.
the process.
Right.
Keeping with the trad world right here. So the ebook for Not a Strong Enough Word is out now because you
Yep.
pulled it for a couple months. Now it's the ebook and it has a new cover.
Mm-hmm.
But the paperback is going to be released in June 2026.
Yes.
This probably happens a lot. I don't pay attention, apparently, where an ebook is first and then the paperback kind of comes a lot later, which your situation is different because you published it and that kind of thing. Having that in mind, did you change anything in the book? Because I know an author who got trad published and she changed like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Which I think is not the norm. So did you change anything?
Honestly, I think publishing houses are like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know about other publishing houses. I think if I had gone to Page and Vine and said like, look, there's this thing that bothers me and I want to change it, they would be like, okay. They would have been like, yeah, now's your chance. But there just wasn't. Yeah, I got a proofread. They didn't seem to want to change a ton. They have their own like style guide as far as like grammar and stuff goes, so they were sort of matching it with that. And but they didn't touch the story, which I was really happy with. Yeah, I added a bonus epilogue because I wanted to. I asked, I was like, I don't know, aside from a beautiful new cover, like I am in love with these covers. But I was like, there should be maybe something different. And they were like, yeah, sure. Like, add whatever you want. So I did. So yeah, so there's a bonus epilogue. But other than that, the story is pretty much intact. We fixed a couple of typos and yeah.
I am a sucker for an epilogue. And this is my thing. It can be like a week later, sure, whatever, do your thing. I mean, I'll read it because I love an epilogue. But when it's like 1 year later or like 2 years later, I'm like, that's kind of my prime. I go, oh, what are they up to now? Like, tell me more.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but there are some time jumps. So the epilogue,
Okay.
the first epilogue that was in the book when it was indie published is like a year later.
Okay.
And then the bonus epilogue is like 7 or 8 months after that.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I just finished a book it's like a novella from my friend Krista Mulligan. It's like a Valentine's Day arc kind of thing, but a thriller. And her epilogue was like 1 week later, and I go, okay. And then I read it, and I was like, oh, dang it, this is great. I liked it later. You did a good job. Dang it, I liked it.
Sometimes it's just what you got to do what the book needs, like you can't force it.
Exactly. I do have a question going back to the agent query submission thing.
Yeah.
You had an agent before you started doing submissions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about this process at all, so I'm just asking out loud. I'm loving out loud. That's so bad. I'm taking that back.
No, that was adorable. No, leave it. I love it.
Okay. I'm not going to edit it. It's fine. But, gosh, what was my question now? Oh, okay. If I am like a first-time author kind of thing, I see this a lot. So a lot of first-time indie authors who end up self-publishing try to query first.
Yeah.
Do you, now that you're in the middle of your writing career, do you suggest, I wouldn't say suggest, how about in your opinion, how about this for you?
Yeah.
Would you wait a little bit to get an agent, or would you self-publish first and then go from there and see if you like the groove? Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, so because a lot of like new authors want their books like in Barnes and Noble and Target the first book they write.
Yeah.
And when they don't get any like good feedback from like publishers, they're like devastated. But I think that's a big ask for your first book. I mean, it happens, do your thing. Mm-hmm. But do you think that they should, how do I properly ask this question.
Like, do I have any
Like,
advice for people who are starting
I
out
guess,
like that?
yeah, do an agent first and then do submissions, or should they just kind of go on their own? Girl, I had a question and then I just did that
Yeah.
joke all out.
No, I got you. I got you. So I'll talk about how I did it.
Perfect.
But I
Yeah.
will say before I like a little asterisk,
Yeah.
there are as many ways to do this as there are people doing it, right? I have I'm 41. I have lived some life. I've done some things. Like I've had other, I started blogging. I had a really pretty successful blog for a while. I was writing like op-eds. I had an Etsy shop. I've been around,
Yeah.
Um, so I have some experience in these areas that lend themselves to self-publishing. Like I kind of knew, people are like surprised sometimes when they're like, wait, being an indie author is like owning a business. I was not surprised by that. That didn't surprise me. Like I was ready for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like I went into it going like, well, if I don't put my book in front of people, no one's going to see it. So I was like, here's my book. And I'm like older. I have nothing to lose. Like I don't, I don't know. Like if I want to do it, I got to do it. So, I think I am, and I'm a teacher, so I talk a lot. Like I'm naturally predisposed to running a street team is not, it's not intimidating to me. I just run it like a classroom, but it's adults and we're all there because we want to be, And so because I am who I am, I'm also a control freak. Because I am who I am, when I published The Right Place, which was my first book, I didn't even think about querying. I didn't even think about it. I picked a cover I liked. I'm also an English teacher. That's not to say that I was good at editing at the time. I took some classes between then and now, so I had an editor, but I also knew the importance of all these things. I also had a very stable job. My kids were older. I had money, like disposable income to be able to set this up, and knowledge of like finances to not go too far in the red. You know what I mean? And so I knew what I could do and I knew what I couldn't do. And so I hired people to do the stuff I couldn't do and I did the stuff I could. You know what I mean? And I put out the best book I could. I'm very proud of that book. I love that book. I know you love that book. I know Daniel is your guy. So I think this is kind of a long way around to I think what your question was, but like, I think if you are if you're like me and you feel like you can do it, then why not do it? Right. Because there are multiple ways into the doors that you might want open to you. My agent reached out to me when The Right Place and The Right Time were doing pretty well and said, hey, have you thought about having an agent? And I said, no, I don't really want an agent. And then about a couple months later, she reached back out and she's like, so are you sure? And I was like, all right, I'm like, I like your persistence. Let's meet. And so we met and she was like telling me about like subrights with translation deals and audio deals and stuff. And I had already started my own audio for my first series. And so she was like, no worries. Like you're going to write more. Like, why not? And, so I signed with her. Like I really liked her. I liked her attitude towards, like we just talked about. She was just like, yeah, we try stuff. We can not try stuff, like whatever you want. And she's like, yeah, I could do traditional submissions. I could do indie subrights, like whatever you want to do, I can do for you. And I was like, cool, let's do it. So we did. And then she did sell some subrights. She sold translation deals for almost for all. Well, what do I have translation deals for? Christmas by Design is in 2 languages.
Yeah.
My other novels, so The Right Place, Right Time, Right Choice, and Common Grounds have deals for translation in Brazil. So those are in the works. Christmas by Design sold audio to Tantor, so did Common Grounds. So those are audiobooks now. You know what I mean? And then I was like, yeah, let's try trad. Like we've done this stuff. Let's try something else. Like why not? And here I am with a trad deal. So I think like, but that said, there are people out there who are like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to pay for editing. I don't want to pay for covers. I don't want to pay for marketing. I don't know I don't know what's on trend. I don't want to follow the trends. I don't want to worry about my social media. I don't want to do it. I want a publishing house to publish my book. And if that's the case, then like you gotta query. You gotta sit. You gotta wait. It's a long process sometimes. And so I don't have that kind of patience, but there are a lot of people who do, you know? So I think it's more of like a personality thing, you know?
That makes sense. Like when you said there's like multiple ways to get in that door, like you don't have one path. There's no simple, like, this is what you do to get in. There's like shortcuts around that door to get in too. Not shortcuts, but you know what I mean? Different ways.
There's shortcuts. There's the long way. There's the scenic route. There's
all the routes.
All of the above. Yeah.
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 I love that you brought up the right place. But so you do have a few series. So we got, is it Lead Park?
Lead Park.
Every time I'm in my head, I'm like, I don't know. So
it's fictional. It could be whatever you want. It's whatever you want.
We're gonna do Lead. We're gonna do Lead because of how it is. So you have the Lead Park books, which are 3 books, and then the Strong Enough series that's going to be 3 books. You do have a couple standalones, which love them obviously. And I promise I won't ask like, what's your favorite book you've written? Because I think that's a mean question to ask.
I can't answer it.
Literally, but choose your favorite child.
Right.
But I might ask like a sister question to that. What do you enjoy writing more? Do you like writing good series? Are you a standalone person? I feel like if I was a fiction writer, I don't have enough patience for a series, but I also feel like I get too attached and want to keep writing.
Yeah. So I'm a standalone reader.
Usually, me too, yeah.
Yeah. I'll read a series, but if they're interconnected, I'm like, I'll read one and I'll come back maybe a year later and be like, oh yeah, I like that, and I'll read the next one. I'm not like a series binger. I am if it's like a true like series where the plot is still going. You know what I mean? But if they're the interconnected like romance standalones, I'm kind of like, I'll come back to it maybe. So because of that, and also because I've been indie, and I do what I want, I always like kind of write the first book and then I'm like, well, like it's a standalone now. Like,
yeah.
Because like something else shiny comes along. I'll have ideas for series. Like Love Out Loud was pitched as a series. So like I have all of that like ready to go.
Okay.
It was pitched with series potential is what they call it. So like they could have bought the first one. They could have bought all 3. They could have bought 1 and 2 and seen how it goes and then come back for more or like whatever, right? Again, there's like a million ways to do it. But I just kind of usually it's a standalone. Like Not a Strong Enough Word was like a standalone. When nobody picked it up, I was like, well then like I'm just gonna move on and do something else. And then when they picked it up, now I'm like, I had to go back and reread it to get all the details right, because I didn't plan for this, you know what I mean? Like I had a series in my head, but I didn't like, there are people who have like character maps and you know all this, you know, the maps of their towns and stuff. Like I don't have any of that. And so I had to go back and make it. And so like, do I love writing a series? I do now that I have all of that information written down. But at the time I was like grumbling to myself, like, why did you do this? Like, why? And I did that when I wrote The Right Time and The Right Choice too. I was like, why did I do this to myself? And of course you set up stuff in book 1 that you're like, ugh, now I have to work within these rules. I don't like rules, you know? But I have to follow them. Yeah. So
I always bring up how like when I started reading again, I read Shadow and Bone, and that was like 3 books.
So good.
God, I know.
So
I remember
good.
Off topic. The first couple pages, I was like, what is this? What's this?
So...
Did I forget to read a book first? And then I got it and they explained. But that is a series that like continues. Like it's not, you cannot by themselves. And I did binge those. Yeah, what about it? I'm not a big binger, so I did that. But with a lot of these like interconnected standalones, some of the books, sounds terrible, in those series when they're like 18 like books long, some of them don't appeal to me. So I don't read them.
I think that's normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like your series, I'm not saying this because you're on here, they were not, the lead series was not like, you could have read them out of order too, but I liked reading them in order
Yeah.
because the characters are together in the second one and the third one and that kind of thing. So I know you said they're interconnected, but I did like them as a series.
I think the lead part series is more of a series than an interconnected stand. Like you could read them
Yeah.
alone, you could read them in different order, but like the emotional growth of all of the characters,
Yeah.
like you see Daniel and his growth in the third book, right? And like you're just kind of like, I don't, it's better. I think it's better if you read all three of them in order. And but the strong enough series, I'm really trying not to do that. Like if you want to read them out of order, like chronologically they go in order, and so you see characters, like you'll get spoilers. Like there's just no avoiding it. If you pick up book two, you're gonna get spoilers for book one. Like there's no avoiding it. But also, like, is it a spoiler? Like it's a romance. It's happily ever. Like what am I spoiling? They're together? Like, oh, shocking, you know. But I think like the lead part was different because the characters from the first books still had conflicts in the second books. You know what I mean? Like they still were like living their life. I thought that was pretty realistic. There were people really loved that or they hated it. It was one or the other, which is like, you know, fine. But yeah, you're right. Like they existed as more of a series, like a series. These are a little bit different.
Okay. For my end question, this went way too fast. So my end question, it is non-bookish, but also can be bookish. So we're pretending it's like December 26th right now. It's not, but we're pretending. What are your goals for 2026? It can be writing, it could be life, it could be both, it could be just seeing me in person, like whatever. I don't judge.
I'm going to see you in person. I'm going to do more events.
Wow. I'll be there.
It's happening.
Good.
My goal for 2026. So 2025 was kind of a dumpster fire for me. Maybe for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I would like 2026 to be a little smoother of a ride, but I don't know that I can help any of that. Like none of this was in my control this year. But I did at the end of 2024, I feel like I had like a premonition of this. Like my only goal at the end of 2024 was to just keep going, just keep writing. Like I knew it was going to get harder before it got easier. Maybe it'll never get easier. I don't know. But like my only goal was to keep going. And I really feel like I kept coming back to that, saying like, no, that was your goal. Your goal was to keep going. So keep going. And I did. And now I'm like publishing a bunch of books next year. And I'm really excited. So I think, yeah, I want to, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I'm just keep going.
It's going to be keep going part 2.
Part 2.
That keep going part 3, that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's really boring. I feel like it's a boring goal, but it's hard.
Okay, no, that is not a boring goal because I always say like New Year's resolutions. I don't like the phrase because it seems like something I have to accomplish or I'll hate myself if I don't. So I always say goals for the new year because, I mean, it'd be nice to accomplish. It feels less intense.
Yeah.
So that could be anything you want. You could say a goal. I want to wash my sheets once a week instead of twice a week. Now I just made that up. I don't even know. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be crazy. And I think your goals are very nice. Your goal to keep going.
It's doable and it's measurable and it's, I don't know, what do they say about those like SMART goals? It's specific. That's not specific, I guess. It's measurable.
Measurable?
I did.
Okay.
I kept going. Here I am.
Good for you.
I'm still here.
There we go. Amen. Allie, you are a joy and a half. You are a joy and 3/4. And is that, wait, no. A joy and 3/4.
Yeah, that's more than half.
Look, it's
I love you so much.
Oh my God. Anyways, I'm an English major. Thank you for joining Megan's Bookish Life IG Live. Congrats for everything. We're gonna see you again in June. Well, the book is out in June, paperback of Not a Strong Enough Word. So get the Kindle book now. Ebook is out. Do you have anything to say to anyone ever?
was a huge ask, Megan.
Anything to say to your readers right now?
I'm just, it's the season of gratitude. I'm so grateful for everyone.